Have you ever thought about how one tiny moment of hesitation can just change everything? Well, today we're going to dig into this idea that the key to overcoming that isn't just in your thoughts, but in a deep shift in your entire state of being. So let's just ask it straight up. What can a single moment of hesitation really cost you? It sounds a little dramatic, I know, but as we're about to see, a tiny fraction of a second can literally be the difference between making history and watching somebody else do it instead. All right, to really get this, we're going to look at a story you probably think you know inside and out, the Apollo moon landing. But this isn't just about space travel. It's a perfect example of how self-doubt can have massive consequences. Now, according to the source we're looking at, the story we all know, well, it almost went down very, very differently. It suggests the original plan was for Buzz Aldrin to be the first man on the moon. The instruction was given, but in that absolute key moment, there was a tiny pause, a hesitation. And in that one instant, our source claims the opportunity was handed right over to Neil Armstrong, who didn't hesitate and walked straight into the history books. And here's the kicker, the really important part from our source's perspective. This wasn't some technical issue. It wasn't a communication breakdown. It was a moment of internal hesitation, probably coming from that same self-doubt or fear that every single one of us feels. And that 1 second literally rewrote one of the biggest moments in human history. Okay, so if the source is right, and something as huge as the moon landing could be changed by an internal state of doubt, what do we do about it? Well, the idea here is that the solution isn't just to think positive. It's about changing who you fundamentally are at your very core. This slide really nails the difference. See, thinking positive can be like putting a fresh coat of paint on a crumbling wall. On the surface, it looks good, but underneath, all the doubt and fear are still there. Being positive, on the other hand, means the wall itself is solid. It's a core state, a genuine freedom from all that anxiety. It's the difference between telling yourself, I can do this, and deep down, just knowing you can. And this quote from the source material it sums it all up, doesn't it? It's arguing that our deep internal state, what we're producing from our core, is what really shapes our world. It's way more powerful than the fleeting thoughts that just skim across the surface of our minds. So, how do we actually change our being? This is where things get really interesting. The source introduces this concept it calls the energetic biofield. The idea basically is that each of us is constantly radiating this field of energy. And that field can influence people and situations around us, sometimes without us even saying a word. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. Energetic biofield? That sounds a little out there, right? But the source lays out a super practical 3-step method to actually work with this idea. So let's break down what it calls the rainbow meditation. First things first, it's all about getting grounded. Step 1 is simply deep relaxation. You start with the physical. Sit up straight, take some deep, slow breaths to quiet your mind. Then you do a quick scan of your whole body, just letting go of any tension you find. This is all about preparing the canvas. Okay, next up is visualization. You picture this universal source of energy, just a pure white ball of light. And with every breath, you imagine inhaling that light, letting it fill you up completely. But here's the key moment, the little switch that happens. You go from just receiving the light to becoming the source of it yourself. And for the final step, you expand that energy. You see that light you've become radiating outwards, forming this protective bubble around you with all the colors of the rainbow. Now, this is crucial. You then charge that field with emotion, like joy or happiness, and lock it in with affirmations. You're basically programming your energetic state. So great, you've got this rainbow bubble of joy. But does it actually do anything? Well, the source shares this amazing little story that shows just how real and tangible the effect can be on the people around you. So picture this. A colleague comes to see the author, and this guy is just a storm cloud of negativity. He's angry, he's complaining about everything and everyone, the students, the management, you name it. The whole vibe is just heavy. But here's the wild part. They didn't talk about any of it. They didn't try to solve the problems, they didn't debate. They just sat in the same room for an hour. And afterwards, the colleague says that for no reason he could figure out, all that anger was just gone. He just felt this total sense of calm. And that is the whole idea in a nutshell. This quote says it all.
The source is claiming that the author's calm, joyful state, his biofield, directly calmed his colleagues without a single word being exchanged. The idea is that your inner state isn't just for you, it's literally contagious.
So let's pull all these threads together. This is bigger than just a cool meditation technique. It's really about starting to realize the incredible power that's built right into your own presence. So where does this power even come from? Well, the source points to the absolute powerhouse we're all carrying around in our heads. Look at this number, 80 billion. That's roughly how many neurons are in the human brain. The exact number isn't the point. The point is the absolutely immense, untapped potential that we all have.
And that's really the heart of the message here. This ability to cultivate your presence, to beat hesitation, to actually affect your environment, it isn't reserved for some special, enlightened people. The source argues it's an innate part of being human. It's something we just need to wake up to and realize for ourselves.
So we'll leave you with this one final question to think about. If it's true, if your presence is a field of energy that's constantly influencing everything and everyone around you, what message is yours broadcasting to the world right now in this very moment?